everybody. In this DVD we're going to talk about upgrades made easy. Now upgrades is a life-altering system for your gyms. And you have to understand, if you don't have an upgrade system in your school right now, by implementing this, you're going to see tremendous gains in your gym. Not just financially, but student retention wise. Your students are going to progress much nicer and have a much better experience at your school. Now, let me get a long story and make it short. Now, the way it works out at FFA is when you come into our gym, you start on the free trial. From the free trial, we're trying to sign you immediately or within the 30 days to our MMA program, which is our introductory program. We don't call it introductory, but it's the program you're going to start out in, which is our mixed martial arts program. It's a 6-month agreement, and it's 2 times a week. From there, within 1 to 2 months, we invite you to our Combat Athlete program. And our Combat Athlete program is 3 times a week with lots more benefits, okay? And it's for a 2-year commitment. And of course, it costs more because you're getting more services out of it. Then from Combat Athlete Silver, which is the 3 times a week, we upgraded to Gold, which is 4 times a week. Then we upgraded to Platinum, which is 5 times a week. And our ultimate goal is to do the big money cash out, which we call our Masters program, and that's unlimited. Now, this whole diagram is posted up in the school. We have a big banner where it says free trial with the arrow up, then it says MMA program, arrow up, and it says CAP Silver, Gold, Platinum, and Masters on the top. So everybody knows the general direction of where it's supposed to go, what's the next level. So let's get into some of the particulars. Now, first of all, I mentioned that we don't call our program beginner or introductory because we find that sometimes when people are offered the invite to upgrade, if they feel they're in a beginner program, they feel like they're being shortchanged, like, oh, I'm stuck in beginner because I won't upgrade, and they feel like cheated. And in reality, our introductory program stands alone excellent. Our mixed martial arts program will teach them about, it has a rotating curriculum, it's a 4-month rotating curriculum. It has a striking, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and we have a lot of guys that, although the program's not designed for this, we have a lot of guys in the MMA program that actually compete in NAGA and stuff and actually place first in the beginner divisions, even though the program's not intended for that. So it's a very good program that stands by itself. We've had students stay in our introductory, our mixed martial arts program for over a year and really enjoy it. Now, our Combat Athlete program is just a lot better. See, but the MMA program does stand by itself as a program. And that's the program they wanted to do, and that's the program they tried out, and that's the program they liked. Okay, so we don't call it beginner, we just call it mixed martial arts. Now, the invitation to the Combat Athlete program happens between 1 to 2 months. And it's during this time that, our instructors are exciting them, they're pre-framing them, like every time they do a move, or they'll say something like, see, this is a black belt tip, or this is what makes the difference between a white belt and a black belt. And there's always emphasis on black belt, because the only way you can get to your black belt is in the Combat Athlete program. And then they'll make references like, oh, when you get to the CAP, you're going to do, CAP is an acronym for Combat Athlete program. So, oh, when you get to CAP, you'll be seeing stuff like this all the time. Oh, but when you get to CAP, you'll be doing this in live rolling. Oh, when you get to CAP, you'll see this plus many other moves. So they're always pre-framing, the Combat Athlete program and how much better it is. The instructors are also, the MMA instructors or our intro instructors, they're always also hyping up the CAP instructors. So, because they're never the same. Okay, that's another thing. I'll get into that in a second. So that our blue belts and purple belts that teach in the introductory courses, they're always like, oh, and Master Marcos and Master David and Coach Che, and they're always pumping up all the brown belts and black belts that are the head instructors in the CAP program. So that's going on constantly. There's a constant build up to the. Remember, the only goal of the free trial is to get them into the MMA program, and the only goal of the MMA program is to get them into the Combat Athlete program, and the only goal of the Combat Athlete program is to get them their black belts. Okay, and that's the order of progression. Now, it's never the same instructor because there's many reasons for it. One, I personally find that blue belts are the best beginner coaches because they're very excited, they're very motivated, and they're eager to show and teach the new students, because they were just a new student just a year ago or two years ago. Now, I know a lot of people that are used to having a black belt always teaching, they find this controversial. But you have to understand, so someone who only has a month to 2 months of training, a blue belt has more than enough to offer them. And remember, you're going to be giving your blue belts a curriculum to follow. So they're following the moves that you are telling them to teach in the order you're telling them to teach. So, a blue belt can definitely handle teaching a Kimura to a guy that's never trained before. And then, remember, they're only going to be with this guy for 1 to 2 months, from which they will be graduating to you or whoever the head instructor of the school is. So, by having him as different instructors, it creates a differential also where they see, the head instructor teaching, the cool classes, either, like we have 2 classes at the same time because we have a big school, but if you only have enough for 1 class at a time, you'll want to put your CAP class before your introductory class. So as the introductory guys are coming on, they see the other guys coming off the mat, and they see the head instructor there, coaching the guys and stuff, and if you're doing the right job, hyping up the head instructors through the beginner coaches, through the marketing materials like trophies or plaques and websites and emails and videos, then they'll be looking in awe of the head instructors, and they're going to be eager to get invited to the Combat Athlete program. Now, another thing we do to facilitate this is that every time someone gets invited to a Combat Athlete program, we make a big deal out of it, okay? We'll be like, and today, at the end of class, guys, great news, today we have an invitation for John Doe to a Combat Athlete program, everyone give John a hand, hey! And everyone gives John a hand. He comes up, gets his invitation to a Combat Athlete program, and lines back up with the guys. Now, once John signs up for the program, remember, our introductory guys wear gray shirts, because we go by shirts, we don't have gis, so they wear gray shirts. Then when they get into a Combat Athlete program, they get their white shirt, which symbolizes their white belt, and then blue, purple, brown, black. In other words, they're not even ranked within an introductory program. They're not even a white belt, okay? And they all know this. We make a big deal out of it. They're not ranked. They're not eligible to be ranked. So when they all have the same color shirts, they're all gray. Now, when John gets accepted to the Combat Athlete program, he gets his white shirt, and we give him a farewell class. He gets one more class with his old intro crew. So it's not that he just disappears. He actually comes back in his white shirt, and he trains with everybody in his white shirt. So, and then at the end, everyone says a farewell, and we explain to him this tradition that we do so that people know he moved on and not just thought he quit or disappeared, which is the truth. But it also is very nice for the pre-frame because everyone sees him moving on and like, oh man, I can't wait till I get the opportunity to get invited. And that's another important tool that we use to help create the excitement to go to upgrade. Now, keep in mind, okay, that you can't just invite anybody because they've been there for a month to 2 months. They gotta jump to the right hoops. The main hoop being attendance. Now, you can do lots of different things. Decide your own hoops. We have a guideline that's posted, and we even have an application for evaluation to the Combat Athlete program. In other words, just because you meet the application doesn't mean that you're in. It just means that now we're going to evaluate you and see if you're worthy of an invite. And in the application, we must attend at least, I think we have 8 classes, so which comes out to we have 6 classes, I think, which comes out to a month and a half if they hit every class. So most people miss 1 class. I'm sorry, did I say 6 classes a month and a half? I'm sorry, it's 2 times a week, so it's not 6 classes. In 1 month, it's 8 classes, so it's 12. I think we have 12 down. Basically, it's a month and a half. If they hit every class in a month and a half, they get the okay to get invited. I'm gonna check it out, but it might be 10 classes. But yeah, whatever. You get the point. The point is, you set an arbitrary amount of classes that you decide is worthy for them to get invited. Just don't make it too much. For example, if you say you want 2 months of perfect attendance, okay, that's gonna come out to 16 classes. And I'm telling you, most of your students are going to miss a class here, miss a class there, and then it's going to end up taking like 3 or 4 months for them to finally, be worthy of an invite. And you have to understand the most excited time of their careers is going to be that first month or 2. You may not remember it, but those first 2 months were super exciting times, okay? And that's where you want to strike the iron when it's at its hottest, okay? You don't want to wait 3-4 months into it because now the excitement level is going down, and they're only coming twice a week, so the fires, it's not enough anymore. 2 times a week is awesome with the initial part, but after a while, they get kind of used to it and it comes down. That's why you have to give them more, and the right time to give them more is between 1 to 2 months. But you can't make the amount of classes too little. Like my initial wrong estimate, I don't know what I was thinking, my math was messed up in my head, but like if you made only 6 classes, let's say, he can hit 6 classes in 3 weeks, and then may not have enough, you might not be mature enough yet to be ready for the invite. So you gotta play it by ear and adjust to the number of classes. But you don't want a guy who only did 2 classes and just been there for 2 months, but only did 2 classes to get an invite. Even though I told you 1 to 2 months is the best time, he does have to do a certain amount of classes. Now, other things you can put in an application is must have all sparring gear. Why? Because by buying $200 in sparring gear, that is a form of commitment. Think about it. If you just bought $200 in stuff, you're not gonna quit tomorrow. You're gonna at least stay around a month or two. You just paid $200 in equipment. You want to use this stuff. You don't want to feel like you bought it for nothing. So buying equipment is a form of commitment that helps anchor the student in that initial month, which is the most crucial time, because the first month is when 86% of the average martial arts or fitness studio of the students will drop off their attendance. It means quit. I mean, the contract might still be active, but they're going to quit in the first month, 86%. So it's a big, big time. So anything you can do to anchor them past that first month is huge. Because once they make it past the first month or two, statistically speaking, they're going to stay between 1 year to a year and a half. It's a huge run they're going to make. So it's very crucial you do anything you can to get them past that first month or two. Okay? So having them buy the equipment definitely helps. Now the second part of that is that when the time comes to do the CAP upgrade and you tell them that they need to have sparring gear in the combat athlete, it's not an extra cost you're looking at in the down payment. That's a sunk cost. They're not thinking about it because they already had the equipment going into the upgrade meeting. So that's another thing we have in our evaluation sheet. So you can come up with any kind of different things that you think are important they need to have to get into there. But definitely the main things would definitely be attendance, and I would also include the equipment. But one other thing that we may not have talked about in this DVD series that I'm going to talk about more in our retention DVD series, which is a separate series, not in this DVD set, but it's testing, student testing. In the combat athlete program, we do testing towards promotion, but in the intro program, testing is only straight up only for to get you further to your CAP program. And one of the things in our sheet that we have is must have at least a B grade in one test. Now the way we normally do it is we give out the CAP invites right after the test. Like they just tested, and as we give them their grade, we give them their invite to CAP, because that's when they're most excited. They just accomplished something. They climbed a certain challenge. They met an obstacle. They feel great. That's when you acknowledge them with that's like the rite of passage to the combat athlete program. Now, do we necessarily ride or die by this application? No. If somebody skips a test, but we feel like they're ready, we'll invite them. If somebody, has kind of a mediocre attendance, but they did the test and they got an A+ in the test, we'll go ahead and invite them. We play that. You play it by ear. With time, which guys are ready to go. But the application helps guide the students so they know what they're supposed to be doing, where they're supposed to be going. Like right away, they have goals for attendance. They have a goal to test. They have a goal to get their equipment. So these are things that are going to help the journey, and you can get very creative with it. Now, that's with the part of the pre-framing going on and the whole preparation going on to get them to upgrade. Does it stop there? No. All your emails for special events like beach barbecues, UFC parties, all these things should be only for the people in the combat athlete program. And when you send an email blast, you send it to everybody, and you say, only for members of the combat athlete program, UFC party this Saturday, blah, blah, blah. So what happens? The people in the introductory program, they feel like they're missing out. Like, man, I need to get into the combat athlete program. I need to get into the combat athlete program. And you're constantly reminding them of how they need to get into this combat athlete program. Another thing we do is we have monthly seminars that our fighters do. Like every month, we get a different fighter to teach a seminar at the school of their favorite techniques and stuff. And it's $100 for anyone that's not part of FFA to attend. But people in the Combat Athlete program get to go for free. See, so what happens is every month the intro guys see this seminar and see everyone going for free and get reminded about how they're not going for free. And if they pay $100, even better for you, because now they get to realize, man, and when I upgrade, I wouldn't have to pay $100. It'd be free. When we do inter-school tournaments, the introductory guys, they get to compete in inter-school tournaments, but they pay more than the Combat Athletes. And it says on the price sheet, Combat Athlete, X amount. So again, another reminder about how the Combat Athlete students are getting more out of the program. Okay, and you can go on and on and on. It's just your creativity. I have a sheet here with some of our benefits that we have listed for the Combat Athlete program that I want to read off. See, we have here that they can choose more classes. We have style-specific classes like wrestling only, kickboxing only, weapons classes. We also have roadwork conditioning classes. These are things that are not available in the introductory classes. So they see our guys outside flipping tires and using sledgehammers, but they don't get to do that. Okay, so it's another thing they look forward to doing. They get to do classes with the black belt head instructors. If there's no black belts in the school, then whoever the head instructor is, they finally get to do classes with those guys and train alongside of pro fighters. They get discounts and special events and seminars. I just kind of touched up on that. We have our online website, ffacoach.com, with the video curriculums, and they get free upgrade to the Combat Athlete membership, which has more videos and more moves. They get access to free special monthly CAP only events. Like I mentioned, the beach barbecue. Our guys also go paintballing, UFC parties, etc. And an opportunity to be officially promoted in the FFA ranking system. That's something we talked about. So these are a lot of the benefits of going to the upgrade. Now also, the introductory classes, they're only 1 hour long, exactly 1 hour. The Combat Athlete classes, they're 90 minutes long, so they're 50% longer. So not only are they get an extra class come 3 times a week, but they also get an extra 50% on each class. So if you add it up, it's 2 hours versus hour and a half, that's 3, and another hour. It's 2 hours versus 4.5 hours a week. It's 250% more time. Okay, so it's a big difference in value between the introductory class and the Combat Athlete class. Now, in the introductory class, there's no sparring. Master Lloyd Irvin doesn't even have them live grapple. They just straight up doing technique and drills. At our gym, we allow the guys to do 1 round of live grappling from the knees, and it's 4 minutes long, and that's it. They don't do anything else. Okay, they don't do 5 minutes. They do 1 4-minute round. They don't do 2 rounds, just 1 4-minute round in a class. They can't start from standing. They can't strike. When they get into the Combat Athlete program, they can start from the feet, they can start striking, they can do kickboxing, they do many rounds, you know, and they know this because they see all the other guys. When they come in out of class, they see our guys sparring and stuff. So they're looking forward to be able to step up and do all the things. And that's another big perk. Notice, we haven't talked about the closing of these upgrade appointments. I'm talking about the setup. Because once you do this right and you have everything set up right, this thing closes itself. It's a really easy close. It's much easier to close an upgrade when the table's properly set. Now, along with all this stuff, I personally have made a video telling everything I just told you on video, where I'm talking about the events, and I have clips of people working on the beach, kickboxing on the beach. Then I have clips of the wrestling only classes. We don't offer gi in the intro, but when they go to Combat Athlete, they get to do the gi class. So we show footage of the gi class. We show footage of the weapons. You know, we mention everything I just told you right now. I have on a video, along with plenty of testimonials. And that way we show them this. We give them this DVD inside the invitation. I forgot to mention the invitation. The invitation is like one of those like pocket folders. I don't know what you call them, but it's like the folder that you seal. You know, it's really nice. Envelope, I mean. It's like a big envelope that you put the full-size papers in. And we get a solid black one so it stands out. And inside it, we put an official like application. Like, you've been invited, now here's an application. And in the application, they put like questions that reconfirm that this is something they want to do in the long term. Like, is black belt, getting one of your goals? I'm sorry, is getting your black belt one of your goals? And then they put yes. Are you willing to train for a minimum of 3 to 5 years to get that black belt? Although it may take longer. But yes. Do you plan on remaining in the area for more than 3 years? Yes. There's all these kinds of questions that are all commitment-based questions, so that when they get to the table and they hear a 2-year commitment, it shouldn't be a big deal. They already made all these agreements with themselves and with us that 2 years is nothing to them. And then it asks all kinds of questions in there, like similar to the consultation form, like what would it mean to you to be invited to make it into a combat athlete program? Do you think you have what it takes to be in a combat athlete program? And it has all questions like that you guys can get creative with and come up with. Now, along with that, you have a nice diploma in there with the invitation that says, this is a formal invitation to CAP invitation to so and so, and then signed by the by the instructor in the intro class, and then it's also signed by the head instructor. So that's a very nice diploma. Now, in that envelope, we also include the DVD that I'm talking to you about that says everything. So they take this home. They read because the invitation is a little brochure hyping up the program with testimonials in it and about how all the best fighters came up in it. So in case you don't pop a DVD in, the brochure itself is hyping everything up. And then inside the brochure is the application. And one of the things the application says, that to make sure it's turned in perfect, that any wrinkles, or if the application is wrinkled or torn up, it will not be accepted. We had once a guy laminate the application just in case he didn't want to mess it up. That way he treated it important. Now, along with that, they have the DVD, they pop that in, they get all excited. So that being said, we never make the upgrade appointment the same day that they get the invitation. Okay? In other words, we don't go, you're invited to CAP, and then take them right away into the office and try to close them. We always give it at least optimally 1 day. The next day is the best. Give them 1 day to let it saturate. Okay? So you can go home, read the materials, watch the DVD, and get all excited about it. I came up with this because one time we had about someone make an appointment the next day, and the girlfriend of this student trained in our women's fitness program and told my wife, "Oh man, you have no idea how excited my boyfriend is. He couldn't sleep all night, thinking about thinking about the combat athlete program." So it got me thinking, wow, you want that excitement, you want that thing to simmer for the next day. So now the table's set. You invited him. He's all excited. He got the DVD. He's got the application. He's got everything. He's ready to go. So now the next day he comes in. How do you deal with this? It's very straightforward. Okay. For you want to now talk about only the difference. In other words, for us, most of our students do the down payment $147 and pay $159 a month. To come into our program, our combat athlete program, it's a down payment, an orientation fee of $397. So the down payment orientation of $397, and after that, it's only $199 a month. So we don't really focus on the down payment. We just assume, when I talk about it, assume you're gonna pay it. No big deal. They know this is a big jump, and if you do your job right, they know there's a big jump in service and level. So right now, we're gonna focus on the difference of $199 and $159, which is $40. So the way we talk to them, we don't talk about $199. What we do is they go, "So how you like your classes? You like everything? How'd you to do 1.5 hour classes instead of an hour? And we'll add an extra class that you're doing right now for only $10 a class. How's that sound?" I'm sorry, I did the wrong preparation there. You actually first calculate how much they're paying per class, okay, to make this thing right. So you get a dry erase board if you have one, or just in a piece of paper, and you go, okay, right now you're paying $159 a month, okay? So that comes out to, and it's around this, $160 for 8 classes. So it's $20 a class. So you tell them, right now you're paying $20 a class, okay? How do you have to add an extra class for only $10? See, that makes a lot of sense. So then what happens? They go, yeah, okay, perfect. This is the agreement. It's $199, and it's for a 2-year agreement. And it's for a 2-year agreement, and you just gotta go ahead and sign here, 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 here. Initial here, 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 and sign. Now, if they say anything about the 2-year agreement, like, oh, it's 2 years ago, well, this is the thing. What makes our program stand out from all the other programs in the area, okay, is that when you go to other schools, it's a revolving door. You have people coming in and quitting, coming in and quitting. See, we respect that. People are coming in and try it out, and that's why we have our MMA program. The combat athlete program is only for people who are serious. And you know, all those people you see in the classrooms, they all saw this and they all agreed that the black belt is what they really wanted. And they all agreed to do this for 2 years. So you have a level of seriousness in that room that you don't have in the MMA classroom, and that you don't have in any other gym. Okay? And that is what the secret for success is. You're working in a room of people who are just as serious about this as you are. It's like being in college and working with people who pay for their schooling versus being in a public school, you know, with half the kids that don't even want to be there. It's a very different atmosphere, which produces very different results. And you now see how that just flows off my tongue. I didn't plan that. It comes in the heart because I do believe that, because it is the truth. Okay, so you know, you explain to them that the strength of the school is the commitment, and you reinforce everything that you brought up earlier. So you want to get your black belt. Black belt's one of your goals. Okay, perfect. So you understand it's going to take between 4 to 8 years to get your black belt. Okay, perfect. Well, here's the agreement. It's only $10 extra a class, and it's only 2 years. And I just need you to initial, and sign here. Okay, so right now you're like, oh my god, it's a piece of cake. They will go right through if you do everything right and sign up. Now sometimes you might meet some objection about the $397, not because they have a problem with it, but because maybe they can't afford it at the moment. If they can't afford it at the moment, feel free to break it up into 2 payments or 3 payments, but usually stick to your guns and they'll pay it. But if you need to break it up into 2 payments or 3 payments, try and make it so it's all broken up within the first month. You want your down payment within the first month. That's what makes the down payment so strong. Because in reality, if you get that $397 divided by 24, that's what's added on to your monthly payments. So it's a significant little chunk of change. But if you spread it out and stuff, you're not going to see that. Okay. Now you heard the whole presentation. You can see that it makes a lot of sense now. It all comes with, like I said, setting the table. And when they come into a room, they've already seen the video. If they haven't seen the video yet when they came into the room, ask them, have you seen the video? Oh no, let me go ahead and play it. Now if you don't have time to make a video, just get a whole bunch of testimonials from current combat athlete members and just bundle them up, put like 10 testimonials together. That does wonders as well. And you show them that, and you sit down and you go, okay, so how's your experience been in the MMA program so far? Excellent. Now, is getting black belt one of your goals? Yes? Perfect. Now you realize it's going to take you between 4 to 8 years to get your black belt, correct? Perfect. Alright, well, you sound very serious to me. You know you want to do this. This is what the program's about. You show them the schedule. You show them how it's more classes. You list them all the benefits. You know, how you go into an hour and a half. You have to train with the black belts. You know, all the things we've been going over. The barbecues. And once you go through all that stuff, you tell them, okay, perfect. Here it is. It's only $10. You know, right now you're paying $20 a class. The extra class is only $10. How's that sound? Perfect. It's to your agreement. Just need you to initial here, and sign here. Now, once they do that, you may have them come in initially and tell you, oh, I want to do 4 classes. Oh, I want to do 5 classes. You tell them to settle down, and that by the next test, a month from now, if their attendance is good, you'll go ahead and offer them the upgrade to gold, which is only going to be $5 extra per class, okay, which is $20 more, which is dirt cheap. But you tell them that they have to have a good attendance, and then from there they can go to platinum, and then from there they can, you know, get them to masters. Now, why is it that we hold off on the whole thing? Well, we're going to take a step backwards. When we first started this, we used to do 1-year MMA contract introductory and 3-year combat athlete program. Matter of fact, when I sent out the first edition of this of this sales video, which was filmed, you know, a while back, we were doing 3-year agreements, and we're talking about the 3-year agreements. So we switched now. The introductory is 6 months, and the upgrade's 2 years. Now, why did we do that? To make it because people weren't signing it? No. just as many people that signed the 2-year agreements signed the 3-year agreements. So just so in case if you're freaking out about 2 years, man, we were signing people up for 3 years all the time. The reason we changed it was about bottom line. I'll explain why. As I mentioned earlier, I touched upon earlier, the majority of your students are going to quit in the first month. Okay? And the reason for this big drop-off rate is lots of things. Okay? One, a lot of people have people training more than twice a week in the first month. So you have people sometimes doing unlimited the first month. So they come in, they go guns blazing, right? And you have to understand, a lot of people have never done exercise before. So when they come in and go nuts that first month, they train 5 times a week. After a week or two, they can't even get out of bed. They're totally sore. And they feel humiliated by this. And they don't even want to tell you that they can't come in because they're too sore. And they think, this is not for me, and they quit. Remember, in the beginning, the whole thing they're doing is evaluating, is this for me, is this for me? And every day they're judging that. Okay? So when they can't get out of bed, they think this is not for me. Second, let's say you have a guy that pushes through that soreness. Okay? He comes every day, 5 days a week. So remember, for every hour he shows up to your gym, there's a 15-minute commute to your gym, a 15-minute commute back, and there's a cool down of about 15 minutes, okay, maybe longer. So give or take, it's about 2 hours per trip to your gym, even though your class is only an hour. Okay, so in a week, if he comes 5 days a week, that's 10 hours of stuff that's being pushed out of his life. Remember, no one just sits and stares at a wall for 10 hours a week. They have that time filled with activities, whether it be chill time watching TV, or time with their girlfriend, or other hobbies. And what happens is that stuff gets pushed out. So you're shocking the system, okay? And what's happening when you shock the system like that, okay? They push all these other things out. That after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, they gotta play catch up and get back to all these things. Give makeup time to the girlfriend, give makeup time to other hobbies, and then it just ends up pushing your thing back out, and your thing falls off the wayside. Okay, so think of it like a fish. When you get the fish, you're gonna put it into the fish tank. You don't just dump the fish in like that, because the temperature change will kill it. So what you do is with the fish with the water in the bag, you get the fish, you put it in the tank, and you let it sit for 15 minutes. So the temperature outside the bag, or the water outside the bag, will change the temperature of the water inside the bag gradually. Now, if you have very expensive fish or are delicate, you take this a step further and you scoop a cup of water from the tank and slowly pour it into the bag, little bits at a time, so the water chemistry can adjust slowly, and then release the fish. Well, the same concept with your martial arts students. You don't want to get that fish and throw it straight into the tank. You want to make it a gradual process. Okay? So, you have them coming twice a week. It makes it remember, they're going to be here for years. Okay? Don't worry about this first month or two. Don't worry about, but they want to come more. Good, they're hungry. They'll agree to upgrade easier. Okay? You don't want to overfeed them. So you want to take this gradually. Another big point, before I go back to the fish analogy, okay? If you have them on an unlimited schedule, or you have them coming 5 days a week with 5 classes they picked, or 4 times a week that they picked, if they hit only twice, that means that they willingly skipped twice because they were busy or tired, and they get used to skipping and just continue skipping. It's like the teacher in college that was really, really strict and wouldn't let you miss class. Okay, that teacher wouldn't let you miss class. If you miss one class, they humiliate you in front of everybody. Okay, like if you ever miss one class, you've seen the student come in late and the guy gets humiliated. That's a teacher you never miss class on. But then you have the other teacher who doesn't care if you show up. And he's like, come whenever you want, just take the final. So what happens in the beginning, you take all the classes and you miss one, then that one becomes 2, and eventually you only show up for the finals, alright? Okay, it's the same thing with your students. If they get used to willingly missing classes, it eventually spirals. Plus, they sometimes judge themselves like, I'm not able to keep up with the 4 times a week I'm supposed to go. It means I'm not good enough. Okay? But if it's only twice a week, that's easy for them to accomplish. And in their minds, they have 100% attendance. They're doing it, they're accomplishing everything they're supposed to be doing. And that's another big reason for limiting them to twice a week. So, now, back to the fish tank. You don't want to dunk the fish and have them, trained way too much off the bat. You want to make it gradual, right? Well, you make it gradual, and then you invite them to CAP. So now you want to dunk them in the tank? No. Now it's 3 times a week. And we even do a sparring orientation first. You know, that orientation fee. So they do a one-on-one sparring session with a consultant. So before they get into a group setting, they do the sparring privately. Because it's very terrifying for a lot of people when they spar the first time. And when they get out there in a group setting full of people they don't know and get to get punched in the face for the first time in their life, it's terrifying. And a lot of people, believe it or not, will quit after the first sparring session. Especially if they go with a spazzy white belt that swings for the fences. That's why in a one-on-one private setting with a consultant that knows what he's doing, they need to take the time and let them know what they expect of sparring. And they don't feel any humiliation or any crazy adrenaline. They still get nervous, but not crazy adrenaline because in a private one-on-one setting. So once they get that, we ease them in again. They're doing 3 times a week, then eventually 4 times a week, and eventually 5 times a week. If a guy says off the bat when he gets invited to come back and says, I want to do 5 times a week, I don't let him. Why? Because if he can't handle the 5 times a week and starts missing classes, it's the same effect. He starts feeling like he's not keeping up, just getting used to missing classes. I don't want any of my guys used to missing classes. I want the atmosphere of college where if you miss a class, you're in trouble. With like the Nazi teacher, the crazy teacher that if you miss a class, they're gonna like take a letter grade off your final grade. You know, that's the kind of environment I'm building in the school. I don't want them to feel like, you know, it's like LA Fitness or Bally's where they miss a class, nobody notices. You know, so I want them to be able to get 100% attendance rate, and if they can prove themselves to want more, then we give them more. Just like the fish, we start putting a little bit of water into that bag at a time, so everything can adjust at a nice even rate. All that being said, when they get invited to CAP Silver, if they say they want to do Masters, we don't talk about Masters Club yet, unless they bring it up. If they heard through the grapevine and they want to do it, that's different. Masters is a big money cash out. But we don't bring that up yet. Even if I know the guy's a multi-millionaire, we don't bring it up yet. Because I want the sure thing first. First, we want to sign them up. Once they sign up to 3 times a week, we wait a couple weeks, and then you can approach them about doing the Masters Club, which is what we call our big money cash out. You can call it whatever name you want. Now, to touch base back on what I was going with the 2-year versus 3-year agreements and the 6 months versus 1-year agreements. So now I think I've thoroughly broken down why the initial month is so important. So I kind of derailed myself for a second, so let me get back on that train, okay? Now the reason why we switched from 6 months to 1 year for the intro agreements is because taking that whole theory into account that most people could drop out in the first month, of the people that are going to drop out, I mean. Like, once you have good retention systems, you're not going to have those terrible numbers. You have a great retention going through. But of those that are going to drop out, it is going to happen the first month. So what happens normally with a 1-year agreement is when that first month goes by, and this is one of those people that's going to quit, they're going to go, oh, okay, you know, how much more do I owe? And they're going to look at their agreement and see they have like 10 months remaining if they're like in the first 2 months, and it's a third of 10 months for the cancellation fee. They're like, oh my God, and they just say, forget that, and they just walk. Especially nowadays with the economy, people are walking away from houses. Okay, they're going to walk away from your little martial arts agreement. Now, however, with a 6-month agreement, when 2 months go by, they go, oh, how much I got left? 4 months left in my contract, a third of that? It's only about basically a little bit over a month payment. They go, okay, I'll pay that, and they'll pay the cancellation fee. Or they'll just let the contract ride out for the last 4 months. So when you compare the bottom line, yeah, you might have 10 1-year agreements versus 10 6-month agreements and go, oh, my 1-year agreements are worth a lot more. But when you actually do the true bottom line, the 10 6-month agreements are going to pull in more revenue than the 10 1-year agreements, simply because more people are going to pay the cancellation fee and more people are going to see it through. Now, of the students you have that are satisfied, 6 months or 1 year doesn't matter because they're upgrading within the first month or two. So the length of the contract is only to prevent people from walking. Now, keeping that in mind, we said that the second big drop-off rate was between 1 year to 1.5 years. So when you have a 3-year agreement, you have the same effect, that when they get to that 1.5 year mark, they go, how much time I got left in my agreement? Another 1.5 years, a third of that? Oh my God, they just walk. But with a 2-year agreement, it's perfect, because when they get to that 1.5 year mark, they only have 6 months left. So the cancellation for a 6-month agreement is only 2 months, a third of that. So it's only 2 months up front, which is not that big a deal, so they'll pay it. But most of the time, since they've already been loyal to you for 1.5 years, they'll just let the last 6 months ride. So all in all, you're going to collect more with a 2-year agreement than a 3-year agreement. You don't have to take my word for it. We have the stats to prove it. I've already been in business now for 10 years. We opened up in November of 2001. We're going into our 10th year this year. And we had all the stats compiled, and I went through all these numbers, and it's legit. Same thing with when I brought it up to Master Lloyd and Julius Park and a bunch of other guys. They all went through their numbers, and they came to the same conclusion. Now we've been doing this 2-year agreement for some time now, and we've all noticed a drastic difference in the retention and bottom line. So that's why we switched the intro from 1 year to 6 months, and the upgrade from 3 years to 2 years. Now, for the big money cash out, it's really simple. Okay, you just simply tell the guy how you enjoy everything, how you like everything. Hey, how would you like to know how to save X amount of money? Okay, well, perfect. This is how we do it. We call it our master's program. It's for serious people. All you gotta do is put one payment down, a blank amount. For us, it's right now. I think it's about $8,000. Okay, $79.97. And after 3 years, after the initial period's over, you automatically renew for only $1 a month. That's it. Now, you have to check with your state, with your lawyer, because every place is different, every state's different laws, every country's different laws. And furthermore, I've never consulted a lawyer about this, so this might not be legal. Okay, I'm not sure. So please consult with your lawyer. That's my disclaimer. Okay, so consult with a lawyer because every place is different. Some places you need to be bonded, some places you don't. From what I know, I'm totally ignorant. I'm not a lawyer. Okay. But that's how we do it, okay? They do one payment down, okay, for a certain amount, and then 3 years later, they get an automatic renewal for $1 a month for as long as they want to continue with the automatic renewal. Okay, so it's a very cheap automatic renewal. I recommend, if you're terrified of pitching someone $7,000, $8,000, to start off with a low number, which is what we start off with, of $49.97. You'll see. You're going to be very nervous about it, but people will do it. And it's all about asking. Every time I pitch this to guys in our mastermind meeting, they're all scared. And then when people start trickling in, hey, I did it, hey, I got my first one, I ask them all the time, how many people did you ask? 2. How many did you get? 1. How many people did you ask? 3. How many did you get? 1. How many people did you ask? 4. How many did you get? 2. I've noticed that initially, people get between 30 to 50% sign-up rate for these big money cash outs initially, because it just takes courage. That's all it is. Okay, people will do this. They'll put on their credit card. If you want, you can split it into 2 payments, so you can do half now, half a month from now. I recommend though that you put a little bit of a penalty for doing that, like charge $200 more or something like that. That little $200 is a big incentive for them to do it on one payment on their credit card. Okay, and the way he pitches is very easy. You just calculate how much they'll be paying for. Then you tell them, hey, is this something you want to get your black belt? Are you sure about that? So you understand it's going to take between 4 to 8 years. So you know that in 5 years, you'll be paying blank amount. But instead, you do this one payment and you'll be saving blank amount. It's simple math. Let's say your membership is $200 a month. Over 5 years, that comes out to what, 60 months in 5 years? So 60 times 20, boom, that's what, $12,000. Okay? So you tell them over 5 years you'd be spending $12,000 here. Or you make one payment of $5,000. You're gonna save yourself $7,000. Now I say to start with these low amounts. Okay? Because the low amount will build you the confidence. But eventually you want to build it up. Okay? And you want to get it to whatever the highest acceptable rate. Master Lloyd does it, I think, for $10,000. Right now we're doing it at 8, but we started at 5, then went to 6, then went to 7, and we just kept going up and up and up. And you know, it's a very popular program. Very often we'll get 2, 3 per month. Okay, so this is something you can definitely do. Nobody's gonna. You have to calculate the number. If every 2 no's you get 1 yes, that's great. If every 10 no's, if every 10 people you ask and said no, you got 1 yes, that's great. That means you got 1 person a day in your gym, you'll get 2 or 3 signups a month. If you're charging $6,000, it's an extra $18,000 a month added to your income. You get 3 signups. That's huge, okay? And you have to understand, people love it. When they get to Masters Club, they have unlimited membership. They can come to any class they want. They get VIP treatment. They get a special dry fit shirt that no one else gets, and we treat them like a prince for the remainder of their career at FFA. And it's a very popular program, and to be honest, it's very easy to pitch. Of all the stuff that we've been talking about, this is the easiest one to do. Okay, it's just a matter of simply sitting down, doing the math of them about how much they're saving, and offering it to them. And you'd be surprised at the amount of people that are going to jump on this. So right here, guys, you got to hear the whole upgrade system. Upgrades made easy. You see how it is. It's all about setting at the table, having everything presentable. We have a sheet with all the benefits, okay, and going out there and implementing the whole system. So guys, go out there, create a killer class of upgrades. Okay, have a killer class of serious students that you can teach and have fun with. Okay, at this point in your careers, and this is something I explain to people. People ask me, "Oh, how come I have to sign 2 years? How come I have to do that?" Tell them, look, at this point in my career, I've decided that I deserve now to be able to train only the people who are as serious in martial arts as I am. I don't want to teach somebody for a month and have them quit on me. I don't want to spend 2 months dedicating all the work. Remember, beginner students require the most work. Hands up, chin down, thumbs in, eyes forward, side profile, elbows in. Okay, we haven't even thrown a punch yet. Okay, the beginning students require the most attention, and if they leave after a month or two, what a waste of time and how unfair it is to everybody else who's actually committed to us. So at this point in my career, I decided I'm going to only work with people who are as serious about this as I am. Okay, and if you asked me, all right, if you asked me right now, how much money would I trade in my black belt for? Okay, if how much money would you trade in your black belt for, or if you're a purple belt, your brown belt? Okay, how much money would you trade that belt for? And to realize when you trade it in, you have to exchange all your experiences that come with that belt, the tournaments, the friends, the training, everything that comes with that belt. Would you trade it for 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, a million? I've done this game over and over. Nobody would trade it for $1 million. Okay, so you're telling me that you can't agree to this for only 2 years? Do you know what you're talking about? See, when you feel it, it comes off easy. So the main thing is feeling it, so you can be able to communicate it. Okay, and that's the upgrades made easy. Hope you guys liked it. One common big fear people have with the big money cash out is, oh my God, but what if this guy comes for 10 years? I'm losing out on all this potential money, blah, blah, blah. Think about it. How many students do you have that have been around for 5 or 6 years? Okay, and of those students that you do have that stuck around for 5 or 6 years, how much do they pay? All right, most people go nothing, right? Because once you have a student that's around 6, 7, 8 years, they're not paying anyways. They're teaching. You're paying them, right? Most of the time, these would be people working in your own school. Okay? Now, let's say they don't work in your school, and you end up having a guy stick around for 10 years with one of these big money cash outs. Oh no, what a shame. You got a black belt in your academy now. Think about it. That's an asset to your school. If you ever get these students to get to 8 years, 10 years, that's an asset to your school. You don't have to worry about the fact that they aren't paying you anymore. Just think about it this way. The majority of the students, unfortunately, even with good efforts, they're going to drop out between 1.5 years, and if you do extraordinary efforts, you can get them up to 3 years. Okay? But that's the point. The majority are going to fall within that range. And yeah, you'll have some that are going to go past that. But like I said, it's a good thing when they go past that. And you're getting all the money up front. When you have money up front, you can do a lot of things. Okay? It's always better to have your money now than to have it 3 years from now. So put your mind at ease. Try the big money cash out. It's definitely you're gonna see it's definitely a good thing. Now, how do you handle someone that comes in off the street that already has a lot of experience, or like a purple belt, and they're obviously too qualified to go into like a beginner class? Well, that's the case where we sit down with a person and pitch them straight into the combat athlete program. It's a very rare thing to do, but sometimes you have to. You can't put a guy into a beginner program that's already a professional fighter or something, or somebody with a lot of experience. And they might not be used to the concept of a 2-year agreement, so they might come in kind of surprised by it. And all you gotta do is just flip it and tell them, like, hey, the reason why we do so good here is because we have this commitment in our programs. You see that entire class there? Every single one of these people decided it's something they want to do for at least 2 years. These are all people that want to get their black belts. You know, if you go to other schools, you get beginners training there, they're constantly quitting, and it's like a revolving door. While here, these guys stick. You know, you gotta think of it this way. You know, laziness is contagious. You know, if you have people that are training next to you that are thinking about quitting this month, you know, and they're going half-ass on the bags, you know, it's gonna rub off on you. Like Matt Hughes says, you know, that laziness is contagious. But when everyone in the room is working hard, because everyone in the room is serious, okay, you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy that stops to take a break. Because everyone else, you know, if half the room stops to take a break, it's easy for you to stop and take a break. But if everyone in the room is blasting the bags, no matter how tired you are, you don't want to be that one guy that stops to take a break. Okay, that's what we're talking about in the Combat Athlete program here at FFA. You know, this commitment is what separates us from the rest of the schools. All our guys here are all serious, and they all know what they want to do. And that's how I pitch that. And we flip it and make it that the commitment is a good thing, and that because in all honesty, it really is. Everything I'm telling you is true. Our Combat Athlete program is totally badass. All our guys know how to fight. All our guys spar. You know, it's a hardcore group because every single person did make a serious decision. They made a serious commitment, and that's why it's the funnest class to teach as an instructor. And teaching Combat Athlete classes is unreal, and that's how we handle it when people come in off the street that already have previous experience. Hey, quick note before we sign off from the DVD. I know a lot of people are asking me, you know, how to implement something like this in their school if they already have like 100 or 200 students without an upgrade program. And they're like, oh, are we going to charge everybody? How are we going to do this? It's really easy. You ready? Grandfather everybody, okay? All your current students right now, if you have 100 students in your school, every single one of them, they're Combat Athlete members. You send one email out to everybody and say, hey everybody, look, we're doing this, where we're going to separate the beginners from the non-beginners. This way, you know, the beginners can get the attention they need when they're starting out, and all you guys, you know, can just get the more advanced training and not have to be constantly relearning the basics. So it's going to be better for you, and it's going to be better for our future beginner students. So right now, we're starting this, you're all grandfathered in for free, and you're all called Combat Athlete members now, okay? And then from that point on, every new student that joins, you put them into a beginner program. First time I did this, I remember my beginner program only had one student, and his name was Lewis, okay? And I still remember. So you have one student, and that one student become 2, then 3, then 4, and before you know it, your whole farming cycle begins, where you have your first beginner class. And when that class fills up, if you have too many people in there, you open up a second section. Right now we have 8 sections of beginner classes. So, you know, you gotta start from somewhere though. So the easiest and most painless way to do this is to grandfather all your current students, every single one of them, into your Combat Athlete program. And that concludes the Upgrades Made Easy DVD. Alright everybody, great job watching the DVD. Now the key thing to getting this stuff done is to implement it, okay? Act on the principles you just learned and the ideas you just learned within 24 hours. If you don't act on this stuff within 24 hours, odds are you won't use any of it. So act on it right now. Make some calls, you know, get things rolling, make some procedures, get your staff together and do this. Now, also, if you would like to come to Miami and learn at the live event that we do every so often, okay, get in touch with Miss Bonita. Her email is bonita@lloydirvinlive.com. The price of the live training is $9,997, and this is the same training that the Mastermind Platinum members do and that the Titanium members do. It's high quality stuff. It's a week and it's very intensive. The guys do 10, 12-hour days training, and when your salespeople leave here, they're gonna be monsters. You're allowed to come yourself and with 2 staff members. The next thing we can do also, I can come to your gym, and I'll come to your gym, do the same exact intense training, and I'll train as many staff as you want. I'll train your entire staff, and it's $19,997 for me to come out to your gym. For more information about either of those options, get in touch with Miss Bonita. Her email is bonita@lloydirvinlive.com. Now go ahead and pop in the next DVD, and make sure you get through all the DVDs. Don't skip any. Go through all the DVDs and implement within 24 hours. Good job.